Our goal is simple: to help you achieve the dream and vision you first had when you thought about starting a business. We're here to make growing your business less complicated. There are building blocks to build a sustainable business. We promise to seek them out and address them all. The Better Your Business Show starts now.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Better Your Business Show. Here we discuss your most important business challenges and provide you with practical solutions to help you better your business.
Absolutely. If you're an entrepreneur, then you are a goal setter. You are aspirational. You have dreams and visions you wish to achieve, which you may not have. Are experts that can help walk you step by step to realize those dreams.
And as Tehran led into, business owners do not get that business guide when they first start their business. And so there's been a problem over the last 30 years of business owners being able to achieve their goal. So we've put this show together, thanks to the Los Angeles Tribune for supporting us on this and being able to bring this show that brings actionable data to our guests and to our audience so that you can build a sustainable business.
Yes. So whether you are watching us live or joining the replay, make sure you take your free business assessment at pillar5.com, and then you can join us in our virtual studio where we can address your concerns and comments throughout the show.
Indeed. So what do we got, champ? What do we got today, champion?
Well, we have some good stuff. We're going to talk about, hold on, wait a minute. I got to pause for a second.
Right.
It's been a crazy week. We've had some really good things going on. Several people have gotten their PPP loans. A lot of individuals have applied for their EIDLs. They're able to go get those funds and apply those funds to their business. So we have businesses that didn't die. They were able to get funding from the government and able to support their businesses. So that's good information. That's good stuff. That's less business owners dying. And that's what our goal is, to make sure that business owners are not dying. And,
Absolutely.
you know, we always got to do shout outs to all the people who support us in what we do. And for those of you who have never had an official introduction, we have our financial expert on this show with us. That's Natalie Essman, and sales guru Tehran Glover, and myself, Carlton Hoskins, founder of I Do Systems, and a little bit of a just nerd, just plain old simple nerd. That's what we call it. But today's going to be a great day, and we got to send shout out to Colette Portis at Red Development out in Arlington, Texas. She always comes on and she supports us. She's actually one of the superpower coaches who uses pillar5.com to improve her businesses and improve her clients' business as well. We also have Natalie Forrest, who happens to be the CEO at I Do Systems. And she also supports with Los Angeles Tribune, has actually made way and paved the way for us to be on this show, the three of us. So, you know, if you see them around, you see them on the show, give them a high five, give them a thumbs up, give them a like, check out their comment on LinkedIn because they're always doing amazing things.
Yes.
So I want to go to you, Natalie, and figure out, what are we talking about today and who are we talking with?
All right. Well, thanks, Carlton. So today's topic is, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And we have the pleasure of having Charity Farrell, owner of OC Merchant Services, joining us today. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little biased. I've had a couple of years relationship with Charity now, and I feel like it's just perfect for today's topic because we're part of each other's community. And so I've had the privilege of being able to have her support, partnership, mentorship for the last 2 years. I really appreciate her. I do want to give a shout out to all the ladies. I was thinking about the show this morning and just thinking how many females we've had on the show, how many powerhouses we've had on the show. There's Natalie and Colette right there. Hey, ladies. And it's just exciting to see this community coming together and making a difference. I was listening to Sharon Lecter this morning, one of her podcasts, and she was talking about assessing opportunities, right? How do we know which opportunities are the right ones for us? And then also being an authority in your industry. And so when I think about Charity is an authority in her industry, and she is a role model, those different stages that we go through, right, in development of being an entrepreneur. And she's a role model in so many aspects. So I just could not be more thrilled to have her here today as we're talking about this subject. She's an amazing job. She's a director consultant with BNI, which is a huge networking organization. And she's a business owner. So what does that mean? Really, it means that she goes out and she influences other entrepreneurs to go next level in their business, right? And helps show them and lead them the way to build a great community, to create relationships, and to be able to influence each other and make a difference in this world. That it's not about selling, that it's about relationship. And that is how we have the biggest impact. So I'm ready to bring her on screen if you guys are. I know she's going to give us tons of value this morning. So Charity Farrell, welcome to the show.
Awesome.
Good morning. Thank you, guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I feel so edified, Natalie. Thank you.
Hey, it was easy. It was easy.
Thank you.
You're
The
amazing.
feelings are mutual, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Charity, thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you. I had the first opportunity of meeting you last week in the BNI, the SoCal BNI. And as we were saying backstage before we came on live, I've been to BNIs. You know, I'm in Texas, so I just got to go ahead and throw it out there. And I'm not going to call out the BNIs I've been to, but I've been to BNIs in Texas, and they were good. You know, they were, you know, I understood the format, but it was like going to a birthday party for 9-year-olds. Okay, I'm just going to try to paint a picture, right? It's like going to a birthday party for 9 years old and then being invited to a red carpet Oscar event. Like, it was night and day when I went onto your event at SoCal BNI. I was blown away. So first of all, kudos to you at the BNI organization as the director consultant over there. That was an amazing experience. And what did I tell you? You should go on a world tour and go around and show the other BNIs how to do this thing, because that was very impressive. I was blown away.
Well, I'm really glad that you enjoyed yourself. It was great to have you both there, Tehran and Carlton. I think the hardest thing to do is replicate what we feel in person when we get to meet each other. Those in-person meetings where we can feel the energy and feel each other's see their personalities, see who they are, what they're about, and get a sense for that. So the fact that you felt, welcomed and had such a great time in this online experience, I don't think there could be a bigger compliment, because that's really what we're going for, is to make those business owners and professionals feel welcome when they join us, and can see what being part of a group like BNI, and specifically our chapter, Aim High BNI, is like.
So let me ask you, Trey. So what is, for those who don't know, because I experienced it, was my first time experiencing it over the weekend. And I actually just wrote an article on LinkedIn, and I wanted to wait till after the show to finish the article, because we hadn't had the opportunity to be on the show yet. So I'll just go back and edit it and add your portion of the show into that article. But even I mentioned there, I wasn't prepared for that. Thank you again, Natalie, for inviting Carlton and I to that.
Thank you.
But when I got in there, and it wasn't so salesy. It blew me away, because it represented a portion in the software that we developed, like a hub of resources that don't sell, but just provide solutions at the time that you need it. And that was impressive to me, how people were actually trying to find, they were shameless in saying what they did, because it's business, but also it's like, well, what do you do more importantly to see if I actually am a good fit, versus try it out, and if it doesn't like it, you get your money back. Well, it's nothing even like that. So for people who don't know, I have this understanding because I attended the event. I've heard about BNI for years, had no idea until I actually attended it. So for people who don't know, what is BNI? Why is BNI?
BNI has been around for more than 35 years. It's one of the largest networking organizations, and specifically referral networking. The idea is that, well, actually the philosophy is giver's gain, that when you give to others, it comes back to you. Other people call that, karma. What goes around comes around. In BNI, it's giver's gain. And it's basically an opportunity to learn about each other, to become each other's experts, to build that community like you talked about, to have this tribe of people around you that are looking out for you and you're looking out for them. There's no reason that we need to do it alone, especially in this last year. Working together has been significant for so many of us. We had to find a different way to do business. So meeting together each week, learning about each other's businesses, being able to become that resource to our clients. You know, who are you looking for? I become that person. And I'm better as a business owner myself because I'm surrounded by amazing people that are pushing me and stretching me and making me look towards a bigger, greater picture every week.
Right.
Well, that's powerful the way you led into that, because it really leads. I mean, you naturally fit right into this particular episode. Like, it's not who you know, it's who know you. And I love the way Tehran created that title on that episode, because when we went into the BI, when I went into the BNI, the first thing I thought in my mind was, okay, I want to stay as far away from Tehran as possible. Like, I'm going to let him go left and I'm going to go right. We're just going to go around the room. But this kind of starts back from Patty Farmer, who was with us last week. Thank you, Patty Farmer, if you're watching, who was talking about the relationship development component when you're networking. And I was really taken back by going into the BNI that many of the individuals that I was meeting already had that mindset that Patty Farmer was talking about. And I was not ready for that. I was blown away because, like I said, I've been in BNIs and it's never that opportunity. It's, hey, do you need roofing? Hey, do you need someone with help? Hey, do you need this? Hey, and it wasn't, how can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I bring value to what you're doing? Don't worry about me. How do I help you? And so there was a part of the BNI when there was myself and three others, and we were just going back and forth. Now I want to serve you. Now I want to serve you. Now I want to serve you. It's like, and it was amazing to have that opportunity versus I want to sell you. 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 So it was really a great experience. And so I'm sure we're going to get deeper into the subject of today, which is networking. But what made you decide that BNI or networking was relevant for your business?
Well, when I started my company 10 years ago, I didn't realize that I was walking into an industry that had such a negative reputation among a lot of business owners. And that's because they've had experiences that left them with not a very positive feeling, right? And so having been in advertising and marketing for over 20 years before I started my company, I was used to people taking my call and talking to me. I mean, I'm a nice person, so people usually would talk to me. And then when I started this company, no one would talk to me. They would hang up on me. They wouldn't even let me share, who I was, what I was doing, and that I was doing it differently. So I had to become part of a group that would think of me as much as I was thinking of them. I had to be able to meet people, tell them about what I do. They, by extension, become my sales force because they learn who I am. They trust me. We build that credibility with each other. And then they become the people, the feet on the street, and share with others about what I'm doing. I am 100% referral based, 100%. And so being part of a BNI group, which is a little, it's like a networking group on steroids. It's not what most people have experienced. And that is because we are accountable to each other. In order to be part of our group, we do bring referrals to the members of our chapter. And so it was a natural fit. I was a little reluctant at the beginning. Most people don't know that I'm an introvert. So the experience was a little overwhelming. But I'm like, you know what? I got to do this. I've got to put myself out there, got to stretch and in order to grow,
That's right.
Nice.
I wanted you to go into something that I found out about the BNI that was real interesting to me. About there's only one person per sector. Why is that? And what does that, tend to cause? What does that cause? What's the result of that? How powerful is that? What's the science behind that?
It's actually really important, because if you have 10 of, Natalie doing what Natalie does in the group, 10 different people, you're not becoming an expert in what each of them does. It is easier to have one person. It's better to have one person. Creates that credibility, that loyalty, that commitment to one another. We work really hard to bring in who we think are the best people in their fields and what they do. And then, so why would I want 10 of those types of people? I want one that I can call on, learn about who she is, what she's doing for her clients, how she's making a difference. And so thereby I become the expert in what she is doing and who she is. It is much easier to build those relationships one-on-one than with, 10 realtors, 10 financial planners, 10 life agents. It's just more streamlined, and we build those deep relationships that way.
Right, right. Because it was about 100 people on that call. Met a young man, Sean, who actually does copy for email. Very interesting. That was something that we actually were looking at this specific time. So you mean to tell me out of all of those 100 people, there was nobody else that could have serviced what Sean was servicing?
Well, for sure, there's other people, but
they may but he was the only one in that category. Is that how that works? How does that work?
So there is an application process. You actually apply for membership, and then a membership committee, every chapter has a membership committee that reviews that application, does research on the applicant. What are their credentials? What are their licenses? Are they current? Do they have any, complaints? There is an interview. They check references. So it's a very involved process. At least in our group, that's like the standard. And just like Carlton was saying, every BNI chapter is a little different. We take these rules pretty seriously because we want the best in our room. And we also ask for member feedback. We encourage our members to talk to the person that's applying. Is this person going to be a good fit? Can we see ourselves referring business to them? So it's not just like, hey, come one, come all. It's, we're looking for the best people. What do those reviews look like? All of those things. And then they get the seat for that spot.
Gotcha. So Sean Martin at Expect, you already are expected to bring forth the best. Awesome.
It's like the all-star of networking, right? You just grab all the all-star players of networking and you just put them in your group, right? Everyone's probably relating to March Madness right now. So, this is the all-star, right, of the networking event. And again, maybe the other BNIs I've gone to, maybe that has changed since COVID and the whole component of virtual networking. Maybe they've stepped up a notch or two, but I've never experienced an event of networking like I did at the SoCal BNI, Aim High BNI. That was, again, an amazing event. And we want to go deeper. Now that we understand your background, your expertise in what you do, I think I want to take a quick break just for a second and give everybody a chance to go refill their coffee cups and then come on back. And then I want to get into the how-to of networking so the audience can walk away with actionable data of things that they can do to improve how they network. And it's not who they know, it's who knows them, right? Getting into that understanding. Okay, so we'll be right back with a quick break. We'll be right back right after this quick break, and we have Charity Farrell. A wise man once asked, what if starting a business was like jumping out of a plane? And like 76% of businesses, what if 76% of parachutes failed before you reached the destination? What about those of you who have already jumped? Well, you may still have time to check your business. Pillar5.com, where businesses get it right. Okay, we are back.
All right, and we're back. Yes. Charity Farrell, owner of OC Merchant Solutions, talking to us about the power of networking. Charity, we're happy to have you here. Something I think about as well, obviously, with having the privilege of being part of Aim High BNI and being in networking for, gosh, almost close to 2 decades now. I think about, the saying, everything rises and falls on leadership. I think about what we've accomplished as an organization in the last 12 months, passing over $3 million in paid out referrals, which is amazing. I don't know very many networking groups that have done that. But again, with, everything rising and falling on leadership, it just makes me think of everything coming right from the top down, from the leaders of the organizations who are putting the systems in place for us. But, aside from the networking, I would like to hear, not that that's the most important part, but there's so much more that BNI brings to the table too. If you could elaborate on that, as far as having the right people that you need to help sustain each other in business. For example, of, when you have the right people around you, how does it impact your business, not just on a referral basis, but helping us to become, better in business?
Well, I think that's true. There's probably a million books that talk about surrounding yourself with excellent people, that you make up, you personally make up the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Those people that are influencing you. I mean, like I said, you could read hundreds of books on those topics, and that is so true. You look at the people in your room, and are they taking you up? Are they taking you down? There is no stationary. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. If you think of yourself being in, this rushing stream, you're either moving with the current or you're being taken by the current. There is nothing in between there. And so it's so important, no matter what facet of your life you're talking about, to surround you with people that are feeding into you, not just, sucking the life out of you. And it is when you're surrounded by people that are engaged and working towards goals and being driven for something greater, it pushes all of us. And I couldn't think of a better organization to be part of. I mean, the people in our room, they challenge us. They just push us to be better every single week.
Awesome.
Great. I definitely want to jump in and ask a question of you, Charity, in regards to the networking component. Many business owners right now they're feeling the pain because they rely on going out, and unfortunately, the mindset to them is make a sale, right? They want to go to networking events to make a sale. But leading back to, it's not who you know, it's who know you. What does that mean to you when you hear that? It's not who you know, it's who knows you. What is the value in that to you?
I couldn't possibly accomplish on my own what is possible when you're working with a team of people. The who knows you is exactly what BNI is about. So you guys didn't even know that when you put the phrase together, but that's what BNI is about. It like I said, it's truly networking on steroids. So people knowing who I am, when Natalie's talking to a client that happens to own a business, she's going to bring me into the conversation because she wants to, not because she has to. And that's how we all feel. We actually, I would say, receive joy when we get to refer to one another. It makes me truly happy when I hear that someone has closed a referral that I have passed to them. And not because there's the recognition that we give each other in that, but that I know that I've made a difference in that person's business. And every one of us feels that way. And who can say that? Even if you have tons of employees, you're not sitting there every day thinking, oh my gosh, I helped this business do better today, right? But all of the people that are in our networking room feel that way. It's that we have a sense of ownership, a sense of belonging, a tribe. Many hands make light work. I don't need to hire 30 employees because I've got 30 people sitting in my room doing that work and reaching out to customers. And think about the people that we know, the connections that we have. And that is limitless when you're talking about, they say, this number's changed over the years, whether it's 250, 500, whatever, we all know a lot of people. And so, like I said at the very beginning of this question, I couldn't possibly reach the number of people that I reach every week if it weren't for the people that I'm meeting with in my room.
how important that is? How important is it in this networking component? How important it is? Let me get this out of my head. How important is it for business owners to embrace networking?
Well, I think today it's incredibly important, and geographically it also makes a huge difference. I mean, Natalie and I are here in California, and our rules, shutdowns and all of those things have impacted business tremendously this last year. We can't just walk in somewhere and talk with them. Nobody wants the door knocking. Somebody's knocking on the door and they're freaking out. Who's at the door? That doesn't happen. I think business owners, one of the biggest mistakes they can make is think that networking costs them time, that they can't fit it into their schedule because it's going to take away from them working, on their business. And that is a big mistake, because networking actually makes it easier for you to work on your business. And that's probably the biggest misconception that people think, or business owners. Like, I have so much to do on my plate, but networking becomes a marketing department. It becomes a division of your company. We don't separate BNI and your business into two separate boxes. They become one together, that BNI is part of your business. And I like to say it's my marketing department. So like I said, I am 100% referrals. Cold calls don't work. Remember I told you they were hanging up on me? Well, now I call business owners and say, we want to connect with you. We need someone that's an expert in their field. I read your reviews. I want you to come meet us. So that's a way that I can call those business owners. But to get back to the original question, it's a shame if it's a missed opportunity if business owners aren't taking advantage of the networking opportunities that are available to them.
Right. And I know we don't talk about Pillar 5 much on the show. But just from what you said, it immediately makes me think about that inside of the software we've developed at iDo Systems called Pillar 5, as they go through these building blocks of developing a sustainable company, one of the things that they run into is obviously the subject of this show, the episode. And we would love to make sure that we put your content there so that they can see you and hear you speak about networking. But it's a task. It's a task that a business owner needs to do from a fundamental side of building an infrastructure of sustainability. Part of that is networking. You can't just push that aside and go, well, I'm not interested in that part. I'm an introvert, right? I'm talking to an introvert here, and I have two other introverts above me right now talking, and they're like, we don't want to do this either. Tehran will be the first one to tell you, I'm not here to be on TV. I promise you, I'm here because I have to, because it's part of the development of building an infrastructure of sustainability. And we have to embrace that. And so glad to hear you talk about that.
Well, I have used this phrase a lot this last year, and that is that you have to dig your well before you need water. And if you haven't put in the effort, if you haven't built those relationships, you haven't dug your well, when something like what we've experienced in this last year, you don't have any water to pull from your well. And when you're a part of a networking group, that is exactly what you're doing. You're digging the well every week. You're building that community. It is not a waste of time. It is an investment of your time. And so when the economy tanks, or, we had members in our group that had to actually close their business. They were not allowed to be open for a period of time. And our members came around these people. One of our members actually worked for another one of our members just so that they could bring in an income during this time that they could actually not physically do their work. I mean, who does that, right? And it's a powerful opportunity when people take advantage of it. It has definitely made it possible for me to celebrate my 10-year anniversary last month,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Charity, let me ask you. So you actually are the owner of OC Merchant Solutions.
Yes.
How does, first, what is it? I want you to explain the service that provides to people when they need it. You told me something over the virtual coffee. I was like, oh, wow, we got to talk in about 60 days. But what is the service, and how has Who Knows You and BNI up to serve as marketing for your standalone business that you own?
So the simplest way for me to describe what I do is that I help businesses accept payments by credit cards, whether that's in person, on the go, on websites, whatever. I help businesses do that. Now, the reason that I belong to this group and the impact that it's made on my business is that I referenced it earlier, and that is that there's not the best reputation in the merchant services industry. And it is unfortunately earned. You know, accepting credit cards is nothing new. It's been around for a very long time. And it's only getting more, especially as we go more cashless and touchless payments, all of those things. And the challenge is that merchants, meaning the business owners, they are paying a fee to accept those credit cards. And I know that you know this because we talked a little bit about it on Friday. And that fee can range greatly depending on who you're working with. There are, fees that are non-negotiable that everybody pays, but all those extra things that come into play. And that is where business owners have felt taken advantage of, or they've had an outage, like they can't take payments. They got to line out the door of people and it's an emergency and they're calling an 800 number, getting passed around department to department, or they get hung up on, they got to call back and then they get a different person. They have to start over. What people don't realize is that being able to accept payments in their business is a huge priority, right? They're not able to do business without it. And so where I come in is that my business owners call me, they text me, they email me, they call me. I've had calls at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning or 11:30 on a Friday night. And if I'm able to help and step in, that releases some pressure and some stress and some very big worries in some cases. And so I can't share that with anybody. I would never have been able to tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do had we not had the opportunity to meet in a group where we were not talking about our how to sell you, right? I wasn't trying to sell you. You just asked what I did and I was telling you, but not in the regard of like, hey, so what are you doing these days? Like, who are you processing with? I'm just telling you who I am and what I do. And that's the beauty of networking, is that people learn those things. And it doesn't, like, we have a policy, a literal policy. We do not sell to each other. We sell through each other.
Say that again. Say it again.
We do not sell to each other. We sell through each other. So that's, having the opportunity to have people get to know me, what I'm doing differently, it is invaluable. It has helped grow my business tremendously in the last 6 years. And for those business owners, especially in this last year, it's been incredible for them to be able to keep their doors open. I think Carlton was saying business owners aren't dying. Well, none of our members had to close their doors permanently this last year.
It's huge. That's
Mm-hmm.
huge.
That's big.
Statistics
Yes.
this perspective, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question for you, Charity. What would be 3 things that you would advise to a small business owner? And just for audience sake, when I qualify small business owner, I'm not using the SBA's term of small business owner, less than 500 employees, less than 10 million in revenue. I'm using what we qualify as a small business owner, and that's businesses that have been around less than 10 years that are generating less than $250,000 in revenue. And I know that's 84.6% of the market. That's a huge market. And that 76% of them will never make it 2 year trend. So that's a sad reality, which, has brought us all together for this show in this networking event, if you will call it that. But what would be something that you learned in the networking processes before you became the queen of BNI? And I'm calling you that myself. Before you became the queen of BNI, what would be something that someone can walk away with and go, oh wow, okay, when I go to a networking event, I'm gonna do that instead of stand up and give my 30-second commercial. I'm going to do something different, or I'm going to have a different mindset. What would be those 3 things, or just one thing? It doesn't matter. If you got 10 of them, share them. We need to know.
Well, I think the biggest thing that we need to keep in mind is that we're all there for the same reason, and that is to grow our business. And if the whole selling to versus through, that is a mindset that you have to embrace. I don't care what networking event or organization you belong to, whether that's the chamber or when we used to be able to go to huge mixer, business mixer events, people are collecting business cards. And what do they do with that information? They're not calling to follow up to make connections. They're calling or emailing, right? How many email blasts have you gotten after going to a networking event selling to you? That is not our goal. That shouldn't be anyone's goal in networking. I want to know who you know. And the only way I'm going to get to know who you know is to get to know you first. And I need to build that relationship with you first so that you see I am trustworthy and credible and an expert in my field. And then you would feel comfortable giving me the key to those connections that you have, to the relationships that you have built, the relationships that you have cultivated. Those relationships are our currency. I think one of our commenters said relationships are the new currency. Without relationships, where are we going to get, right? We're not going to get anywhere. And so if I don't first build that relationship with the people that I'm actually sitting with, I'm never going to get to where I want to be, right? Which is in front of the people that you know. And if you think of it this way, once I build credibility with you, you now have a testimonial about me. You become my advocate. You believe in me. I mean, you heard Natalie talk about me this morning. That doesn't happen just because we met for 15 minutes on Friday to prepare for today, right? That doesn't happen in that time. It's because we've gotten to know each other. We've invested in each other. And we know that when there is opportunity, when we hear something, when we see something, we're going to be thinking of each other in that moment. That doesn't happen when you're not putting in the work, right? So, I mean, I don't know if that was one thing or 10 things, but you got to cultivate the relationships. Without relationships, you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think about companies, right? Let's just take, for example, let's think about Facebook, right? Let's think about Mark Zuckerberg building Facebook, right? College application that's turned into $1 billion multinational, international program. He obviously built some relationships on campus, right? And he networked with those individuals and, whatever happened in that relationship. I wasn't there, obviously. But afterwards, when he decided to explode that market, to really push this to several markets, I think it was more of a drop and let people play with it. I really don't know how he did that, but I like to use his example because many business owners in their mind, they think I'm building the next $1 billion ... right? And in their mind, when they hear networking, it's like, yeah, but okay, I'm going to meet 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. That's it. That's all I'm going to meet. I need to meet 300,000, 400,000. How do I get there with networking? Do I do both sides of it? Is there a sales and a networking side? Or is it all networking, all relationship development? Do I need to know everyone who ever buys Pillar 5 and have a relationship with them? Or should I be working to, what should be the mindset? I mean, because it sounds like a new wave of relationship development. It's like a little different. We're not just getting sales anymore. We're actually getting relationships. And is there a middle ground at all, if possible?
I think that over the last decade, we've seen business change dramatically, right? The opportunity to research someone before you actually work with them has never existed in the way that it does today, right? Excuse me. And yes, I can research anyone on social media, but what do I do when I really need somebody important? When it's more than just, getting a car wash, when it's looking for a financial planner, when it's looking for somebody that's going to do the taxes for my business and my personal, right? Those are things that require trust. And I may go research somebody online, but what's the next thing that you do? You're going to ask your group of trusted people, who do you know that does this for you? I want to hear your experience. I want to know who you know. And business wasn't done that way even 10 years ago. I mean, I've seen business change so much. Yes, social media is important. Yes, doing all of the other things, sales and marketing and having those things in place. But networking should be one of those pillars, right? It needs to be one of the things that is written into the business because it is about relationship. People care about who you are now where they may not have before. They want to know who you support. They want to know if you're donating to organizations. They want to know if you're giving back to your community. They actually want to like you, right? And that, I think, has been one of the biggest things that I've seen change in the way that we're doing business. We're not just selling something. They want to know who you are. If it's like a one-off thing, I'm not like a car wash like is a little different. Not the car washes are not important. We want our car wash. But all of those things that we're doing matter. And so when you said, I don't want to meet just one or two people or three people, I want to meet, 300,000 people. Well, the only way that you can do that is leverage your contacts. And yes, we're 4 people here right now talking, but if we took the number of connections that we had on Instagram and on Facebook and in Alignable and in LinkedIn and all of those places, how many people do we know as a group? Thousands, right?
Right.
There's 4 of us in this room.
Right.
You make me think about that Suave. I don't know if it was Suave, but the hair commercial. I'm dating myself right here. Back when they would go, you tell one person and one person tells another person, and the next thing you know, the whole screen was full of, this is before the Zooms and the video conferencing, and they had all these people on the screen. That's the analogy that went through my head when I heard you say, we're just 4 people, but if you look at the connections between the 4 of us, and then their connections, and then their connections, and then their that's really an interesting dynamic. And I know many business owners aren't thinking about that. That's really important, like you said, to add into the plan.
It absolutely, and that's why I know I mentioned it already, but the biggest misconception is that it's going to take time away from what you think you should be doing. And in reality, if your goal is to build your business, then this is exactly where you need to be. You need to be talking with others. You need to be networking with others. You need to be building a community, right? Building a better business by leveraging your relationships.
Charity, we have a majority of, if not all, of the people that tune in are small business owners. I personally know one, the Splash of Color Printing, is relocating right now to reopen a t-shirt printing company. Everyone needs these merchant services. Everyone needs a network. How can people reach out to you to maybe setting up again, resetting up for merchant advice, consultation, introduction to BNI, to find out how to implement networking into whatever it is they're going to do, whatever the industry is? How can somebody reach out to you to get help in the way that you can help them?
I think right now, actually, my website is scrolling on the screen there. My website is ocmerchantsolutions.com. My email is charity@ocmerchantsolutions.com. Pretty easy. So for me, if somebody needs help, even if it's just questions, I think a problem that business owners have is that they're so afraid to talk about it because they feel like if they ask someone questions, they're going to get the shark on them that's going to be harassing them and calling them and bye, work with me, all of those things. But I come to the relationship as a consultant, and my first goal is to educate, whether that's regarding merchant services or even networking. We've got to understand what the goal is before we can actually help someone, right? And that's the most important question you can always ask is, how can I help you? So find out what the struggle is, and then figure out if there's a solution. And I'm happy to do that with anyone that wants to reach out about their merchant services, so what they're paying for their processing. And it's just a conversation. It's not signing a marriage certificate.
Yeah.
Just a conversation. And I think once people get to talk to me, they know that it's different. They know that it's not like what they've experienced in the past. At least that's what they've shared with me. And they can usually tell that pretty quick. They're like, nobody's asked me these questions. Nobody's seemed to care. Nobody seemed to care about these things. Why do you need to know that? And then you explain it. totally different experience. But I don't even get to those conversations without my network. So ocmerchantsolutions.com, that's where you can reach me. I'd be happy to chat with anyone. My phone number's on there. And, I'm here to help.
There it is.
Awesome. So if a business owner is developing sales, let's and I don't want to say that they're starting. I know every time I use the term building, others may think, oh, he's starting from scratch and building. But even a multi-million-dollar company is still building. Building is constant, right? There's always reform and market shifts. But as someone is building their business and now they're thinking about, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, I like this networking thing. I'm going to change some of the things in my business so that I can lead with the relationship versus the sale, maybe convert from sales to relationships, but maybe keep some of the dynamics of sales in there somewhere, because you have to close at some point, right? You have to close in the relationship, right? So you have to in your case, ask the guy out to dinner, or in my case, ask the woman out to lunch, or whatever that is, right? In that close, that's a close, right? What would you suggest? How do they format that? How do they implement that into their business, to the sales and the networking together as a dynamic duo to, at the end, achieve the goals that they're trying to achieve, which is generate revenue and provide a service to, a problem or a solution out there in the market?
Well, I think that when you're solving the problems, you have to take it to the next step and ask, is this what you need? Is this what you, based on these things that you shared with me, the challenges that you're having, we've addressed this, and this, let's move to the next level. I think every time that you're having a conversation with someone, you need to ask for the next step, ask permission for the next step, set the next expectation. And I think people really get hung up on the no, right? The no becomes personal. It's not personal. It's just business. It's personal to us because it's our business. It's what we are building. It's our legacy. It's everything that matters to us, right? And so the no feels like, oh, that was awful. I really wanted that deal. But there's other deals out there, right? So obviously you do have to ask for the sale when it's appropriate. Be the consultant, go through the sales process, find out what they need. If you don't know what they need, then you can never really sell them, right? Because if you found out what their pain points are, you're never going to be able to offer the solutions. And if you're not offering the solutions that they need, then they're not going to work with you. But asking permission every step of the way, setting those expectations, don't be hurt by the no. It's not personal. When I first started out and in my career many years ago, I won't say how many years ago, I have had different jobs, and some of them were very almost, they weren't telemarketing, but it was quantity, make this many phone calls a day. And so then it was like, no means next, move on. No means next. The maybes are what kill you, right? So if you're not asking for the sale, you're not moving forward. But that yes in the sale is much easier when Natalie has walked before me and leveraged the credibility in her relationship with the person. The yes becomes easier because that person trusts Natalie and thereby extension trusts me. And so that is why, I know we keep coming back to, which is the point, to network. The no happens less, the yes happens more. When you're getting qualified referrals, not leads, not something you could buy off of Google. When you're getting those qualified referrals, Natalie's leveraged her credibility, the trust she has in her relationship with that person, and extended it to me. And so the yes becomes more frequent.
Interesting. Wow. Just so many nuggets.
Getting better with a hot knife.
A hot knife. I like that, Natalie.
Awesome. Well, right at this part of the show, we normally allow our guests to go ahead and chime in if they have any questions or anything. But in the meantime, while we're waiting on any comments or questions that they may have directly for you, Charity, or any of the experts on the panel, what is the one thing that a business owner who is trying to build a network around themselves and be known, what is the one thing you recommend them to start doing that they may not be doing? The one
Put themselves out there. You can't be known unless you know others. They always say, listen more than you speak. Be interested in order to be interesting. When we show that we care about others, when we are engaged in what they're doing, I think Tehran was talking about how people they were asking about him. What do you do? Well, how can I help you? Who do you want to be connected to? When you are invested in others, they're going to naturally return. You got to put yourself out there. And it has to be consistent. We don't make deposits in the bank one time a year and expect all of our expenses to be covered, right?
Why not? Wait, hold on. Why not?
I really wish it worked out that way. I really do. But we have to continually make those deposits. We can't, if we're not making those deposits, there's nothing to pull from. Goes back to the digging the well before you need the water. If you're not putting in the work, you're not going to get results. Networking isn't a magic pill. It takes time. It takes energy, but it's rewarding as well.
I love it. I love it. So one more time, if someone wanted to get information from you, meet with you, connect with you, after the show, we'll have another conversation. We're going to want to put you on side of our Pillar 5. So when business owners are going through the steps to grow their business, when they come across merchant services or better understanding the network, and we want to have your beautiful face up there so that they can see you, as Iran says, youngster. And young lady, let me say it the right way, young lady.
Or young man, if it's a man. Everybody should be their vibrancy. That's all.
So that they can connect with you and reach out to you for help, because we trust you. So that's why we would want to put you on our platform so people can come to you for advice. But if they're not there and they're in the public, where would they go to get with you? How should they reach out to you?
A good place to start is my website, ocmerchantsolutions.com. My contact information is there. You can find me on LinkedIn, also Charity Farrell. I know that there's another Charity Farrell. She's an actress, but I'm not her. So make sure you're finding the right Charity Farrell. But I would be happy to connect, even if it's just to talk more about leveraging relationships and who we know. It doesn't just have to be about business, although that's great too. It's why we're all here, right? To grow our businesses. But I am better because of the people I surround myself with. So if anyone would like to connect, I would be more than happy to do so.
Awesome. Natalie.
All right. Thank you, Charity. It's been just great having you on the show this morning and getting your insight and your wisdom. And we just appreciate you so much. So thank you. And just for the impact that you're making for so many people, even just outside of your merchant services business. You do so many things to help enrich people's lives and help entrepreneurs and help us all grow. We're just so thankful for you.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Charity, we're going to be hunting for you backstage so we can talk to you about getting you on the platform.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Charity Farrell, founder of OC Merchant Solutions. She is amazing. A lot of networking. So if you're in the SoCal BNI area, you want to reach out to Natalie Essman, you want to reach out to Charity Farrell, you want to get involved in that BNI. If you're starting out networking, and if someone in that industry has already filled the space that you're in, they'll still be happy to talk with you and direct you to other BNI connections or just other networking events that can support your business. And I think that's really important. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I've been to several BNIs, and this was by far the SoCal BNI that I went to at Aim High was incredible. I so want to go back again. I wish I lived in SoCal so I can join them.
We'll let you visit again. Don't worry. Anytime, Carlton.
Oh, that was awesome.
I don't know who I'm going to say something. So I want you to go ahead and ask Natalie what she was asking. I don't know who mentioned it, but somebody mentioned that relationships are the new currency. And I remember Patty Farmer said that as well when she was on. And there's a phrase about networking everybody I'm sure has heard, and it says your network is your net worth. right?
Mhm.
And if relationships are the new currency and your network is your net worth, it kind of goes hand in hand to make sure you build a strong alliance of people around you, whether they're buying from you or not. It's creating your network, because then that's going to really determine or have a great impact on your net worth when it comes to building your own business, or even your own personal worth as a character, your net worth as an individual.
Yes.
It should always be about building and developing. The road to success is always under development.
Yes.
Like
I think that's
that.
the biggest thing, Tiran. I mean, you nailed it right there. Is that if we don't have credibility in those relationships, it doesn't matter. It starts with us having credibility. And so I think about that a lot, just even the beginning of my networking career. We get so excited just to go out and meet people, and we're, getting cards, and yeah, we're calling them to sell, but there's no credibility in that relationship yet. So what does it matter? So it really starts, there's the adjective. It starts with, I like them. I start to build the relationship, and then I can trust them. But during that, time frame of going from like to trust, we're looking at, is this person credible? Are they keeping their word? Can I trust them? Something I think of all the time is, would I feel comfortable leaving my child with them? Because when you're making referrals in business, that's your credibility on the line. I have to know that this person's a good representation of me as well. And that starts with us first. What are we bringing to the table? And that's really the leverage in it. The leverage in that credibility is who we're being. And then that's where everything, stems from there. So that's just a great point. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good way to put that.
Natalie, that was pretty interesting. As you say that, my brain is ticking, and I'm thinking about my first networking events that I went into. And I remember I was kind of bumbling through the first 30 seconds to introduce my bit. Hi, my name, like I wouldn't even remember my name sometimes. Nerves and everything, right? You're in a group of people you don't know, and you're standing up, right? And so I think over time, what happens is there's this mentality of, I need to figure out my 30-second elevator pitch, right? I need to come in and pitch for 30 seconds. I need to have a really, really good, dynamic, funny, quirky commercial that I'm going to run for 30 seconds. But then I'm just an ad at networking at that point. I could have been on TV with a spokesperson. There's no value in it, because it's not me being me genuinely who I should be. And I think that's probably the biggest thing now taken away between this week and last week, is that I think when business owners are now entering to the networking space, or if you're already in the networking space, change the whole dynamic. Take the 30-second pitch and just throw it as far away from you as possible, and go in with trying to lead with value, trying to help people with what they need help with, versus let me pitch you my 30-second pitch on my business, with a little jingle on the end because you'll remember me. It's like, no, that's the wrong mindset. That was so 30 years ago. That's like dinosaur age. And I think that's part of the reason why businesses fail. I think we cling to the things that we've seen or read in books 20 years ago, when the market has changed dramatically today. Like, I mean, networking events are now here, right now, right where we are, right? TV's shows are produced right here where we are on TV. And so I just think that that's a huge component, and I really experienced it in BNI. So if you want to know what that feels like, go to the BNI SoCal Aim High. That was amazing. And they led the same way. And I just think that was a great experience. And Tehran, what did you think about that? Just really quick. I know we just got a minute left, and then we got to do a hard stop. But what was your thoughts on that experience?
I mean, it was just you said everything. I would just be taking up airtime if I started talking. So there's really nothing more at it. There's no seasoning to put on the sand. You guys just digest it, take it in, look up BNI, network, grow your net worth, build yourself, build your business, take it seriously. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And as my brother would say, and who's happy to know you after they know. What are they saying?
I love that was your first experience too, right? It's like, go big or go home. We're taking care of all the way to the town.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. So anyway, just real quick before we jump off, I just want to say, if you're going to a BNI, or if you've been at BNI anywhere on the planet United States, if you've been to any BNI and you have not been in SoCal Aim High BNI, before you make a decision about BNI groups, I want you to go to the SoCal BNI group, because it's a different experience. And I'm not blowing smoke here. It's like, making your own steak at home and then going to a 5-star restaurant eating a steak. They're both steaks, but they're different flavors. And I want you to experience that flavor. And then we can all petition for Charity to go on a world tour and teach the rest of the BNIs how to do it, because that was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how much she'd be up to it, but yeah, definitely. She has my vote.
All right. Awesome. Well, as always, please go take your Pillar 5 assessment. It is imperative that business owners understand the life cycle stage that they're in, because you don't know what to do on your business next. It's almost impossible to know what to do next. So if you go to pillar5.com, you can take an assessment on your business. You can find out what life cycle stage you're in, and you'll know exactly what the next step is to take on your business. And then one of the executives at I Do Systems will be happy to walk you through that and build that relationship with you and find out what you need to grow your business to a level of sustainability. Because just like the Better Your Business show, our goal is to help you better your business and survive and build a sustainable company and avoid failure.
And I want to give a real quick shout out to Mo Rock at the Los Angeles Tribunes and Natalie Forrest, columnist and CEO of I Do Systems, because networking is what afforded us the opportunity to negotiate this 12-episode situation where we can help people help us to help them to help us, back and forth, back and forth. So network is where it's at, Chief.
That's right. All right, Mo, Natalie.
LATTV.
LATTV on Roku. That's right. You can watch this on the replay as well. All right, as always, we hope you better your business. Thank you for joining us on this Monday, and we'll see you next week with more great content. And tonight on the LA Tribune Live, Natalie Forrest, Mo Rock, they're going to be doing the thing like they always do. Make sure you're there and you catch all the great and up-to-date content. And next week, we'll be coming to you live talking about boardrooms and why it is important, no matter the size of your company, why having a board of directors is relevant.
Have a board.
Yes. We'll see you next week. Have a great day, everyone.
Our goal is simple: to help you achieve the dream and vision you first had when you thought about starting a business. We're here to make growing your business less complicated. There are building blocks to build a sustainable business. We promise to seek them out and address them all. The Better Your Business show starts now.
A wise man once asked, what if starting a business was like jumping out of a plane? And like 76% of businesses, what if 76% of parachutes failed before you reached the destination? What about those of you who have already jumped? Well, you may still have time to check your business. Pillar5.com, where business